VJs on Sports Like Conduct. I'm your host, VJ Reddish, because I always think I'm #8515. Welcome, everybody, live right now to Spreaker.com. Podcast later on iHeartRadio. Also catch us on YouTube and all other social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys can follow the show there. Great show for you guys. Quick one today. Only about an hour, maybe a little over an hour. We will revisit one of the best nights in all of sports. The first round of the NFL draft. There's nothing better. Only the NFL can steal attention from other sports. Basketball can't steal attention. Early NBA, early college football that starts, college basketball that starts in October, late October, early November, mid-November. You can't steal from the NFL. It's almost like the NFL is like the sports Jesus. You can't steal from him. You have to believe kind of what his word is. You have to praise him if you really want to live a long time. Some of us believe, us real hardcore football fans. You got to be loyal. You got to be supportive. You have to study the gospel and study the word. Football is like the sports Bible, and especially the NFL. Only the NFL can steal the sports story away from other sports at its peak. NBA playoffs supposed to be at its peak right now. You have baseball starting. You got a lot of baseball nerds in this country. A lot of baseball fantasy guys. DraftKings, FanDuel. A lot of money going out to NBA playoff games. NHL hockey's even going right now. Great NHL playoffs going so far. Down to the conference semifinals for the West and Eastern Conference divisions. Games going into overtime. Players fighting that don't normally fight. Players scoring goals that should be scoring goals. Players that should be scoring goals, not scoring goals. Goaltenders playing out of their mind. You got a guy like Connor McDavid up there with the Edmonton Oilers that looks like the next reincarnation of the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Has his team into the second round. They beat the Anaheim Ducks the other night to start that series off 1-0. You have Golden State sweeping the Trailblazers. You got LeBron and the Cavs doing what they do. You got the Spurs finishing off Memphis last night. You still can't hog the spotlight away from the NFL. The NFL comes in and steals the show. Better ratings than any other sports programming last night because football and the NFL simply is king. First round draft picks, a lot of surprises last night. Once the Chicago Bears moved up, it reshaped the next 25 picks. 3 quarterbacks went in the first round last night. I haven't seen that in a few years, but the thing about that is each team that went and got a quarterback moved up to get them. No one stayed put and took their quarterback. And we'll get into Mitchell Trubisky and we'll get into Chicago because as I analyze it and I break it down and I think about it more, I don't know that I'm as mad at Chicago as everybody else is. I'm not sure that I'm going to bang on the Bears as much as everybody else has already been doing. I believe that you need one thing in pro sports, and it goes across all pro sports to win a championship. You need a quarterback. Your starting pitcher, your catcher, they're your quarterback. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Jordan, Bird, Duncan, the greats of the NBA, they're your quarterback. Point guard playing NCAA basketball. Got to see the court. Got to run the offense. Got to get him in good situations. Get in the good sets. Know where to get who the ball and where to get him the ball at. Quarterback. Quarterback in the offense. You hear that? Floor general. Field general. Think about it. You need a quarterback in every pro sport and college sport to be successful. With that thought process in mind, I'm a firm believer that if you think a guy is your guy, if you look at a quarterback and you think and you know and everyone in the room agrees this is the guy we're starting here and we'll continue to build everything else around him, yeah, it's going to be rough for a year or two. Yeah, there's going to be some growing pains. Yeah, there's going to be some hurdles. Yeah, there's going to be some rocky roads. But the hope and the plan, I would think, is we get them now, we like them. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It really doesn't. I've banged on quarterbacks like RG3 when he came out of college. I was right about that. I banged on Colin Kaepernick when he came out of college. I was right about that. I banged on Ryan Leaf way back in the day. I never liked Tim Couch, Achilles Smith. I could go on and on and on. The only quarterback I think I ever probably missed on was Quincy Carter. And that would hurt me because I have a side thing with Georgia players for some reason. I have no idea why I love Georgia players the way I do. Just all the way back to Hines Ward and Champ Bailey and Craig Lumpkin and Herschel Walker and Matthew Stafford and A.J. Green and Shaw Jones. For some reason, Richard Seymour. I just can't get over how good some of their guys are, and I like their players. I feel that way about Florida State and LSU too. They just always have players that pan out, players that end up being really good, and they were really good in college. They get to the NFL, they do their thing. I'm just a fan of those guys. It makes me root for their team when their team is playing, as long as they're not playing Michigan. Georgia, I don't think has ever played Michigan. They haven't played them in a while. LSU too, along with Florida State until this year. They only played one time in their histories of playing college football. So I always call those like my crush teams. I don't call them my B teams because it makes it sound like I have more than one team. No, just teams I got a solid little crush on. That's it. I'll never date them. I'll never go out with them, and I'm not going to sleep with them. I just got a crush. I just like to watch them. Just like to look at them from afar. I like to watch their production. I like their coaching staff. I like their tradition. I like their stadium. I like their fight song. I like their uniforms. There's just always something about guys like that. And Quincy Carter came from Georgia. He's the only guy I missed on, really big name quarterback that I missed on. I'm not sure if I'm pro Trubisky or if I'm con Trubisky, but what I am pro is that if the Chicago Bears feels like this is their guy, and this is their guy for the future, you go get him. Andy Reid did the same thing with the Patrick Mahomes pick at a Texas Tech with the number 12 pick overall. He believes that he can work with this kid, bring him into his system, let him grow and nurture, take some of those hurdles, take some of those rocky roads, take some of those bumps, take some of those rough paths. And this is the guy he's going to be hitching his wagon to in the future. That doesn't say that Alex Smith is out the door. It doesn't say that they don't like Alex Smith. What it says is Alex Smith is 32 years old. Alex Smith has gotten them as far as they can get him, and they're going to give him the respect to play him this year, and they will start Alex Smith. Alex Smith is your starter this year. No one else starts. But when you're ready to move on, if Andy Reid thinks, if I get this guy, if I work with him, if I get into his head mentally, if I can teach him how to be a pro quarterback, like Andy Reid continues to do with just about every quarterback he's ever had. Donovan McNabb read a spread offense, read the option. He read the wide open triple option in college. Oh, he can't do it in the NFL. He's not going to be able to be a pocket passer. Great quarterback career, great quarterback in his whole career, in my opinion. Michael Vick goes to prison, comes back. People thought that Michael Vick was done. A lot of people, there's no way he can come back after 2 years, and he runs a lot of... No, you know what he did in Philly? All he did is went through like 27 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, somewhere in that neighborhood. And just had a splendid year from where? The pocket. He said Andy Reid was the guy that really taught me. I thought I knew quarterback until I played under Andy Reid. If Andy Reid thinks that's his guy, I have no problems with a quarterback going anywhere. I think it's silly talk because we listen to all the what he can't do. You have to understand in football, it's about what can I get that guy to do. That's what GMs are leaning on their coaches. Can you work with this guy? A lot of you guys don't like Ryan Tannehill. But Adam Gase took that job, and the job is Ryan Tannehill's because he looks at him and he goes, I'm not Joe Philbin. I'm not Mike Sherman. I am Adam Gase, and I think I can get him to do what I need him to do for me with the other weapons that we have there. It's not about what everybody else thinks. So I'm not sure I'm going to bang on Chicago because I think it's low-hanging fruit. It really is. Oh, they gave up so much. You don't know what those picks are going to be next year. San Francisco did outstanding by basically getting 2 of the top 3 defensive players in the draft. And these guys are what they call plug and play. You plug them in the day they get in the door. You tell them to keep their mouth shut, put their head down, and you'll see them on opening day. You get Ruben Patterson at the Ruben at the I don't understand why I keep screwing that kid. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Ruben Patterson from the NBA, who was supposed to be the Kobe stopper. Reuben Foster, excuse me. But you get Foster at the middle linebacker, just plug him in, man, and just let him go make plays. He is now the captain of the San Francisco 49er defense. And then you add the defensive tackle, who is one of the best inside rush guys, along with Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. You add him. Thomas is sitting right there at number 3. They move one spot back and grab them. You pretty much have just shored up the middle of your defense for the next 6 to 7 years. And remember who their GM is. It's John Lynch. It's a guy who played and looked at the back jerseys of Warren Sapp. I'm not calling Thomas Sapp, but he's Sapp-ish. He's Sapp-like. And you have Reuben Foster. He's looking at the back of the jersey of R.E. Foster. That guy was Derek Brooks. Not calling him Derek Brooks, but he's Derek Brooks-ish. He flies around. He can cover in space. When you put on the Alabama tape for the last 2 years, all he does is simply make play after play after play after play after play. It's just like Jabril Peppers. Great signing for Cleveland. Cleveland did so well last night, in my opinion, because they did not reach for the quarterback that everybody wanted them to. It's okay. Just like it's okay if you like a guy to go get him, it's okay not to like a guy in the draft. And maybe they did like Trubisky. Maybe they did. And maybe they thought he would fall to 12th. Don't see how. Jets are sitting there and need a quarterback. What the hell are they doing? They pass on D. Watts, and they go after a corner. And I know I've said before that sometimes you got to get a corner and lock that side down. But it's also dependent upon the quarterback that's on the board. Now, I'm glad he didn't go there. They have no line. That's one of the worst rosters in football. They have no offensive real threat weapons that's going to keep any linebacker, defensive back, or defensive end up the night before they play the Jets. The defensive coordinator from any opposite team on the Jets schedule this year is not losing any sleep the night before they play them. So I do understand the pick. But at the quarterback position, you've got to have it. You've got to have it in pro football. And I know you need a defense, but why not get the winner in? All Deshaun Watson did in college was win. That's all he did. All he did was win. Games he's not supposed to win, won. Defenses he wasn't supposed to torched. Situations he weren't supposed to get his team out of, he got him out of. Over and over and over and that's all you saw from the kid. High character, never going to be in trouble. That guy's never going to be in trouble, ever. He is never going to have any type of bottom ticker tape breaking news on any sports network. His mama and his auntie and his family will hold him account. You can see it. You can hear it in the way he speaks. Some of these guys, they could be off the wall. Like my man from UCLA last night. I know he dropped the F-bomb, and it's not that. But just that over emotion is one or two things. It's going to work out great in the football field, or it's going to be really bad at a nightclub one night. Deion Sanders did right by pulling him close and said, I want you to do something for me. I need you to harness that. It's a harness it. And what Deion is talking about is you look at that kid and he could play. McKinley could play. He can flat out play the linebacker position. But do I want that guy on my team with that type of raw, over the edge emotion? It's great on Sundays, Thursday nights, and Monday nights. It's great those days. When he has a helmet, pads on, and a logo of a team on a helmet. Nightclub, not sure. Sports bar, not sure. After hour party at a mansion or a big house with some girls and some drinking and some trees, not sure. Out of Richmond, Oakland. If you don't know about Richmond, Oakland, just go Google it and look it up. Go look at crime stories, or go look at Providence, or go look at Richmond, Oakland. I'm not dogging Richmond, Oakland. I'm not talking about Richmond, Oakland. I know people from Richmond, Oakland, but I know the area. That mentality, that just loose tongueness, and I thought it was funny as hell. I understand the story behind his grandmother. It's very touching. It's actually very borderline sad. I 100% completely get it. But you have to know that you're on national TV on the NFL draft. And you cannot drop F-bombs because you're emotional. Because when you're emotional and you got weed or you got some drink in your system or testosterone's running high because some beautiful women are around and there's some haters in the same club, I'm not sure I want that intensity and that emotion at that time. Go look through history, guys. Go look through history. Everybody loves Des Bryant's emotion and his intensity when he came out of college, correct? Everybody loved that, right? What did it end up doing? Police called on him 2 or 3 times before his second year. The incident was hitting his mom in the face with a fitted cap, pushing the woman away from at the mall, getting into it with the jewelry store owner at the mall and the security guard. That emotion, that passion. I love it on the football field. I'm just not sure I like it in society. But that's what the draft brought last night. The draft brought a lot of emotion, a lot of passion. The offensive lineman out of Utah brought his son up and held him up like he was Simba. I ain't mind it. It didn't bother me one bit at all. That's that man's son. He'd been kicked out of a house by his parents. He had some issues with getting in trouble with the police and the law and drug, and turned his life around. He had been sent away from college. He had to go do a Mormon mission to recreate his faith and get back in his life, get his life back on track, and to have this baby, and then now to go realize his dream. And if you put the tape on, he's a mauler. If you put the tape on, he's nasty. He plays to what I call the echo of the whistle. He blocks to the echo of the whistle. Not to the whistle, not through the whistle. To the echo of the whistle. There's a half-second echo of a whistle, and you are still able to drive your guy to the ground, or you're still able to finish that block off. You're still able to sling a guy down. You're still able to throw that last-second blindside block. Could be borderline. Could be borderline, but hey, some referees let guys play like that. If you've developed that type of personality, if you develop that type of reputation, there's a lot of referees that'll let him play that way. Sure, he'll be deemed dirty by some defensive lineman, but when you go put the tape on, it's like, nah, he just plays to the echo of the whistle. He's not dirty. He plays hard. Put the tape on. He is a mauler. And he's going to be close to home. Obviously, John Elway's fallen in love with the kid. They had him in 3 different times. They went and flew to Utah and talked to him. They like what his family presents around him. They like the change that he's make. They need a left tackle. They go get one of the best ones in the draft. You got to start building from somewhere. People keep saying, well, the Broncos don't have a quarterback. Well, they may not have a quarterback or they don't have an offensive line. Which one is it? I think it's they don't have an offensive line because I believe Simeon can be just fine if you block for him. He can be just fine if you block for him. They still need a running back. They still need to patch the line. And when you think about how things changed this offseason with quarterbacks, let's go through the timeline. Last year, free agency, Texas, they pull Osweiler away from the Broncos. They give him a bunch of money. Doesn't pan out. Trade him and ship him to Cleveland. Cleveland thinks they got their quarterback now. After drafting Cody Kessler in the 2nd round from USC last year, Romo's going to get released supposedly. Texans, Broncos in the mix for Romo, right? Doesn't happen. Texans then flirt with the New England Patriots and Jimmy Garoppolo. Doesn't happen. They're sitting there like, damn it, we're picking in the 20s. None of the quarterbacks we like are going to be there. And then Chicago turns the entire draft on its head. Chicago turned the entire draft on its head by making their move, which really made me sit up on my sofa. I watched it on DVR last night. I had rehearsal for a theatrical play that I'm in. I didn't finish the draft until damn near 2:30 this morning, West Coast time. It was already 5:30 a.m. back on the East Coast by the time I finished the draft. So I stayed off my phone. I didn't know any picks. I stayed away from everything. I got to pick 8 with McCaffrey at the Panthers, and wow, sidebar, Cam Newton just got better. Carolina Panthers offense just got a lot better. Carolina's scoring per game just got better. Carolina's kick return game just got better. Carolina fixed 4 phases of football with 1 draft pick. Christian McCaffrey is 100% legit. Just go once again, put the tape on. Show me the tape. 700 total touches in the last 2 years. And for everybody that talks about size, stop it. Darren Sproles, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. Don't talk to me about size. LaDainian Tomlinson is not a big guy. I've seen him in person. It's about balance. It's about speed. It's about acceleration. Football IQ. Marshall Faulk wasn't a big guy. This kid does everything. He catches and runs like a receiver. He runs like a running back. And I don't want to hear about 25 carries a Sunday. He's not going to carry the ball 25 times a Sunday. Cam Newton carries it 10. Jonathan Stewart carries it 15, 16. The kid needs 15 carries, but you're going to throw to him 5 to 10 times a game. He's going to return 3 or 4 punts a game for you. And that helps field position, time of possession, which helps the defense. All 4 phases of football. Offense, defense, kickoff, kick return. Kickoff because when you give him the ball, he scores. So when you're kicking off, that's a good sign because that means you just scored. I factor that into a player's ability to affect an offense or affect a defense. I don't just say special teams. Nope, it's kickoff and kick return. A middle linebacker, a defensive back, a shutdown corner, it helps your kick return game. Why? Because you're out there getting the ball because it's always 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, and they're stopping people. They have an opposing 3rd down conversion percentage of 38%. So that means 62% of the time, you are getting kick return punt. Your defense, your team is getting punts that day. 62% of the possessions that go to 3rd down on that Sunday. 62%. So that means if only 10 of them go, let's do a nice even round number. If only 10 possessions go to 3rd down, your defense gets off the field 62% of the time. That's 6 punt returns that you're going to kick to McCaffrey. You can only kick away for so long. Sooner or later, he pops one. Their special teams is good with Teddy Ginn. You just plug this guy in. He's a plug-and-play guy. But back to the storyline. Osweiler goes to Cleveland. The Broncos are sitting there, no quarterback. Houston's sitting there, no quarterback. They think they're going to get Romo. Romo retires to go to CBS. And now they're like, holy shit. The Bears make a move which changes the top 25 picks. Look at the way guys slid. Once that happened, everybody started to slide. And then other teams, Kansas City, I want my guy, I'm going to get him. Chicago, I want my guy, I'm going to get him. And how about the situation that Deshaun Watson finds himself in? Are you kidding me? Number 1 ranked defense, top 10 running back, top 10 receiver, and Fuller's a top 15, top 10, 20 receiver. They have a young stud at the tight end position. They have a bulky, mauling offensive line. And then you bring in a kid who's smart, not cocky, no arrogance, no diva. Now that could change. The diva part can change. Money changes people. I don't know if it'll do him, but it changes people. But you just didn't see signs of it in college. You see signs of some of this stuff in college. You just didn't see it from him. He's going to come in, put his head down, keep his mouth shut. I like 12-4, just off of right now. 11-5, 12-4, right now. He can move. He's athletic. May not be the most accurate kid, but there's only like 4 accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Stop kidding yourself, people. I love my boy Ryan Tannehill, and even on days where they are blocking for him, there's sometimes he just misses throws. Tom Brady never misses throws. Aaron Rodgers never misses throws. Phillip Rivers never misses throws. Matt Ryan never misses throws. There's your 4. Sometimes Russell Wilson, everybody loves him. He's wild with it. Sometimes Big Ben, everybody loves him. Big guy, prolongs play. He gets wild with the football. Eli Manning, we know he'll throw a pick. He'll give it to you. Eli Manning will just straight up throw it to you. You don't really see Aaron Rodgers just throw the ball to a defender. You don't really see Phillip Rivers just throw a ball away and just throw interceptions away. You normally don't. You just don't see that. You normally don't see that with some of these guys. Those are those guys. Those are those guys you just don't see that way. So to say, well, Deshaun is inaccurate, well, you know what? I'll take it. He won't be too damn inaccurate throwing it to DeAndre Hopkins. And people thought DeAndre lost a step last year. No, he didn't have a quarterback to throw him the ball. He's got a former college teammate now, a guy that he knows. They're from the same state. They've known each other since middle school. I'm pretty sure this will not be the first time that they've thrown the ball to each other. Play a little pitch and catch. What a situation. And I told Raynell this morning, I was watching all the coverage. I actually got up and went in the room because I'm a big Deshaun Watson guy. Deshaun Watson is my guy. He's on the level of Cam to me. He could be Cam Newton, just like Jameis Winston. Those three quarterbacks, and then of course, my guy, Ryan Tannehill, who plays for my team. Those are my quarterbacks in the NFL, man. Brady rolls with Donald Trump. I can't ride with Brady no more. I made that very clear during the election. I'm done with Tom. I can't root for Tom Brady no more. Make America Great Again, dodging all the questions. Nah, man, you believe and you like that stuff, bro. I can't mess with you. I stay consistent to what I say when I'm talking sports. I can't ride with Tom Brady. I don't even like Tom Brady no more. Michigan or not, I don't like Tom Brady no more. That's what politics will do. Sue me. I'm not the only one who feels that way. There were people who liked Colin Kaepernick until he took a knee for injustice and oppression against people of color in this country. And those same fans that were cheering for him when he was kissing his biceps and rushing for 200 yards in playoff games against the Packers, lead him to the Super Bowl, and almost driving him down the field and win the game, they were loving him. Loving him. The minute he did something political they don't like or they don't agree with, or something social that they don't like and they don't agree with, oh, he's just drawing attention to himself. He's so disrespectful to the military. Shut up. What do you do on military holidays? You cook out, get fat, drink beer. You don't go to a parade. You don't go to the cemetery. You don't go visit an old veteran with his legs blown off. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Damn moralists in this country. Stop acting like you're so damn perfect, people. But Deshaun Watson, my goodness, what a situation for him to go to. And no one saw that. No one saw. They're at 25. You don't think he's sliding. You don't think he's sliding to 25. You have no idea thinking nobody thinks he's going to slide to 25. But they go up and get their guy. Now, on the flip side of that, with a few other teams, if you don't see a guy you like, Jets, did take a quarterback, need one. Cleveland, did take a quarterback, need one. But if they do not feel their guy is there, do not reach. It will set your franchise back 5 to 10 years. Ask the 29 starting quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns since 2003. 29 of them. I disagree with Philly's number 2 overall pick. But last year, I wanted them to go for Jalen Ramsey. But you know what they said? This is our guy. This is the guy that we like. We don't want Goff. We're not worried about Goff. We're not trying to swap picks. The Rams took Goff because they felt like they had to. They really didn't. But I felt like the Eagles looked at Wentz and said, big guy, big arm, can move, tough division, gets cold here, hard place to play. Hard fans to please. Historical franchise. Hey, look, the Eagles haven't won a Super Bowl in a while, guys, but that's an historical franchise, okay? They go back to the old NFL. The Eagles have been playing football since the 30s. And there may be Redskin fans and Cowboy fans and Giant fans that don't like them. I don't care about them. They're not my team. I don't hate them. They have no history with Miami other than Don Shula breaking the wins record at the old Veterans Stadium. We signed guys like Keith Byers. We signed guys like Keith Jackson from Philly to Miami, and they were productive for us. And my father is born and raised in Philly. He's everything Philly. And I don't have the greatest relationship with my dad, and I'm not angry at him. The way I kind of hold on to him is I talk Philly sports with him all the time. When we're on the phone, how about those Eagles, Dad? How about those Phillies, Dad? How about those Flyers, Dad? How about those Sixers, Dad? And because I have my father's first, middle, and last name, I don't feel like as a son I should hate his team. May sound a little corny to y'all, but you ain't walked in my shoes as a son of my father, so mind your business. I like what Philly did. They're going to build around him. They added receivers because they felt like he was their guy. If you see your guy, go get him. If you don't, leave him alone. Also, something in the draft that was very surprising to me, we did not see an offensive lineman go in the first 17 picks. First time that has happened in the history of the NFL draft in the present state that the NFL draft, basically the modern era, as they like to say it. I hate saying modern era because I have no idea what the hell modern era is. I never know how far they're going back when they say that. Whenever they say modern era, I'm almost like, okay, but like, what's the modern era? What era? What are you talking about? How far are we going back? And I made a prediction on another show, and I hope somebody out there backs me up on that. But I made a prediction on another show about 2 or 3 months ago. We were talking about free agencies after the season was over. Somebody asked me, they thought the NFL was changing, and they said, what do you think is changing? I said, we're going to go back to running backs, receivers, and guys that can get after the quarterback. That's what's going to start to happen now. We've had a run. If you think about it, guys, there was a 5 or 6 year run where there were no running backs and no big time running backs taken early in the NFL draft. Things change. You see the running back position back. You see the rush in position back. Interior linemen, linebackers. Look at linebackers. Why? There's 2 things you better be able to do in the NFL. 2 things or you have no shot. You better be able to protect your quarterback. You better be able to go after him. Go look at the money, guys. Follow the money. You want to know the most important positions in football? Follow the money. Where are the big contracts at? Defensive rush ends, right? Quarterbacks, right? Oh, we don't want Von Miller to be the highest paid defensive lineman ever. God, we've seen Bruce Smith. We've seen Reggie White. Well, those aren't those times. And times have changed and money has changed. And right now, you better be able to protect your quarterback, or damn it, on Sundays, you better be able to go get one. With that being said, I got a call coming in from the 703. Now, right now, VJ's on Sportsmanlike Conduct, man. Give us where you are, your name, and your team, and talk to me.
Hey, it's Phil Acosta. I'm coming live from Chicago, Illinois. So we're talking.
I was just talking about your Bears.
Yeah, I bet you were. We were the talk of the town last night. Everybody in Chicago was depressed about the pick. So,
well, I'm gonna start by saying this, and thanks for calling, man. We appreciate the call, Phil. I am not gonna bang on the Bears like everybody else is, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know whether I'm pro pick or con of the pick, but what I am pro about is I'm a firm believer that if everybody in the building thinks this is your guy, you go get him. You go get him. I much rather, if I'm Mitchell Trubisky, I'm telling you what my mindset is today. I'm elated. A team went up to get me, which means I need to put my head down. I need to keep my mouth shut for the next few years, and I just need to go work, man. He has the tools. He doesn't have the biggest arm. I get that. But you have the tools. They see something. I always feel like there's always a coach or GM that looks at a guy and go, you know what? We can get him to do what we need him to do, not the other 31 teams. So I don't hate the pick. I don't love the pick. What I do love is that they saw their guy. I trust John Fox as a head coach because all he's ever done has been successful, and they went and got their guy.
I can agree. I mean, I was not elated about the pick last night, but then again, I got to be honest. I didn't know a ton about Trubisky, so I had to go and read on him. But the one thing I do know is that the Bears have not invested enough in the quarterback position traditionally, and right now it's a huge problem for us. So we could go and line up, load up on a bunch of defensive players like we typically do and not be able to move the football, or we can try to go find a quarterback, which, I mean, it is the position. If we find a good quarterback, we can probably fix some of the other problems. So I can kind of look at it from that perspective. And I don't think it's the end of the world now that I've calmed down and thought about it. Initially, I was just like everybody else, freaking out, like, why did we get this guy? But he is a good fit for our offensive system. If you go and look at what he did in college and the system that he ran versus what he'll run here, he does fit in pretty well for that. And, we built him some breathing room. I mean, it's not like he has to hit the ground running. We signed Glenn into the $45 million deal. He's there to get him through the transition period. We have other backup quarterbacks.
Which is 1 year. It's only 1 year. They're going to they're going to pay him $18 million to play for this year and bring this kid along. Trubisky starts next season, if not this year.
Right. So, I mean, it's a good system to make sure that he doesn't get thrown to the wolves. So, I mean, they're investing a lot of money in quarterback. I didn't like all the picks we gave up to do it, but Chase has been a pretty good GM, despite us not winning, and I think he may do some stuff. I don't think it's necessarily over. He'll make moves to try to fix that. But, yeah, like you said, we went up to get him, the guy we wanted, and we're just going to have to see if we can win with him. I just know everybody in Chicago was upset last night. I hear people talking about it here at the airport. Everybody's upset about it. But I don't think most fans are evaluating the total situation. Because I wasn't last night. I was just being an angry, emotional fan. I was like, wow, took this guy. But the more I look at it, I can see it from, other ways. And if you get a winning quarterback, I mean, it's the NFL. It is the position. So you need a quarterback to win.
Well, not only that, you have a running back. You have two running backs.
Right.
You have what I would call an above-grade good offensive line. You don't have an average line, but you don't have a great line. And it damn sure isn't a bad line. They could run the football last year. They just could not throw the football through the air and move the football. I think that's why they didn't mind Alshon Jeffrey going. I know the Eagles love that pickup. I like it because Carson Wentz needs weapons, but I don't love it because when I watched them in Chicago, I saw flashes, but we come from an era, Phil, where we've seen guys come into the league at the receiver position and dominate the day they walk in the door, not flashes. Like, we didn't have flashes from AJ. We didn't have flashes from Dez. We didn't have flashes from Julio. We didn't have flashes from Randy Moss. Like, those guys, they come in, they dominate, like, immediately. We've seen this with the kid out of Texas A&M that's down in Tampa. We see it with Odell Beckham. We see it with Jarvis Landry. There are no I just saw too many. You're a Bears fan. You watch every snap. I mean, am I wrong on that, or am I hating a little bit?
No, you're not wrong. And just a side note, you're talking about Tampa. Tampa Bay did a good job last night.
Great job.
They did a really good job.
They've done a great job all off season.
They could have had their draft.
They've done a great job all off season, and there's rumors. I got a text message from a friend that covers sports out of Tampa that they are in discussion of trying to move up, and he believes it's for Dalvin Cook. Yes, absolutely. Well, you have to. Doug Martin has been injured, and then he got popped for the 4-game suspension. They thought Sims was going to be the guy, and I remember going on my show 2 years ago when they drafted him, and I thought, well, I mean, he's a nice back, but I don't know if you're talking Atlanta's defense twice, you're talking New Orleans defense twice, and the Panthers, and at that point, the Panthers had the number one year and the number 2, the second year defenses in the league. So I looked at that pick like, I mean, do they understand who he's running against? But you bring in Dalvin Cook. You got the Panthers defense that need to be retooled. You got the Saints defense now that need to be retooled. And really, the only tough defense in the division is a young, fast, aggressive defense led by Dan Quinn in Atlanta. I think Dalvin Cook, if they could somehow make that happen, I think Dalvin Cook is a perfect fit there. But a quick sidebar on him, though. It's not actually his character issue. A report came out today. He's been secretly followed through this all season like they do a lot of these kids. They hire PAs to go follow these kids and see what they hang around with. It's the people. A report came out today. It's the people he hangs with. It's not him. It's the people it's the company he keeps that GMs and owners don't like.
He's going to have to separate from that when he hits the league, that's for sure. I do got to go catch a plane in a minute, but I definitely want to get on to the exciting thing. I know you were talking about the draft, and I'm going to go and catch the rest of the show when I get landed. But just one note for all the fans, especially the Bears fans, people go back and look at these drafts years later and realize, oh, we all got it wrong. Happens in every sport. So no need to freak out over what happened last night. And if he turns out to be a great quarterback, he'll be called the smartest team in the NFL. So,
and not only that, man, I always say this myself. Just when we think we know it all, none of us really know shit.
That's true. All right, thanks for having me on, DJ.
Always, baby. Safe travels, man. Fly safe, baby.
All right, bye.
All right, Phil. All right, guys. Yeah, I love that call. Keep calling. Bring them in, guys. 703. Oh, excuse me, 703. That's my home area code. 860-614-8257. Bring your team. Bring your opinions. Anything you want to talk about. Really quick to Tampa. I was going to get to that, but being that it came up, I'll bring it up. I did get a text message from a friend, from a fellow NABJ member that covers sports in Tampa. He's been on my show before. He knows I follow the NFL closely. And Tampa is trying to move up early in the second round to grab possibly a running back, and that running back right there, I think most people would agree is got to be Dalvin Cook. You also have the kid out of Texas too. I can't remember the name; is just skipping my mind right now, really quick. But I'll look it up. Hey, Sean, look that up. The running back from Texas, the guy that won the Doak Campbell. Yeah, that kid. Look that up. Also, too, teams that address needs I thought were really smart picks. At 4, Jacksonville Jaguars. You have to go running back here. T.J. Yeldon can't carry the load. Who you have Denard Robinson there, and I'm a Michigan guy. Denard Robinson's not your lead back. I mean, Toby Gerhart was there a few years ago. You have to be able to take some pressure off of Blake Bortles. I didn't like his year last year. The Allen brothers were nowhere to be found. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get it to Julius Thomas. I know that's why a lot of people are thinking, well, Miami signed him. He didn't have a good year. Well, nobody had a good year in Jacksonville. Sometimes that ankle or that calf or that hamstring, I'm not sure if it's really an injury, a physical injury, or a mental injury. NFL doesn't have guaranteed contracts. And I know some people may be saying, well, that's the cheap way out, or that's the sucker way out. Or that. Not when you're not getting guaranteed. When you get guaranteed money, you play. When you get guaranteed money, you play. I think that's exactly why. Dante Freeman, thank you, Dwayne Davis. Dwayne Davis hit me. Yeah, Dante Freeman, thank you. That young man out of Texas, too. Watch him go off the board today. Second and third rounds. Running backs can be had, guys. You don't have to get them in the first round, but let's be real. There was only one Leonard Fournette. There's only one Christian McCaffrey. Those guys were going to be top 10. I think they did a great job, Jacksonville that is, taking that pick and bringing in that back. He's a guy, now that's a 25 carry a game back. That he looks for contact. He's a contact searcher. Like, he is searching for contact. And like Dion said last night, that's a business decision. When you bring him in, that's a new business decision in the AFC South. Defensive backs from Indianapolis, defensive backs from the Texans, defensive backs from the Titans. Business decisions will be made when you play Jacksonville. Do I want to play next week, or do I want to sacrifice this labrum or this collarbone trying to tackle this man? In a lot of comparisons to Adrian Peterson, I'll tell you this, he's quick. He's quicker as far as his quick twitch goes than Adrian Peterson was. He's got better hands than Adrian Peterson does. And a lot of scouts believe he's a better pass blocker than Adrian Peterson was. If you watch Adrian Peterson, guys, Adrian Peterson kind of did one really good thing. He just ran fast, ran hard, ran guys over. He didn't have a lot of quick twitch in him. He didn't have a lot of juke in him. He's either outrunning you or he's low in the shoulder, stiff arm, he run you over. Leonard Fournette does that too, but Leonard Fournette's got quick twitch. It can make you miss. And Leonard Fournette also played in the SEC where speed is at a premium for linebackers and defensive backs there. Now, we can bring up the 2 games against Alabama, but hey, that's Alabama. And they have no offensive creativity at LSU. They had no quarterback. They had nobody to throw the ball to or move the ball up and down the field at all, but just turn and give it to him. You can't do that against Nick Saban's defense. You can't do that against St. Nick. That's not going to work. I mean, you can't have number 4 named Deshaun Watson, and all he does is go out and put up 400 yards in back-to-back games. You can have him, though. Other picks that I thought went really well for teams, Jabril Peppers. You guys are going to think this is a homer, but you guys know I'm a Michigan fan. You guys know how I feel about Jabril. Most of you feel the same way about Jabril. I don't care. Linebacker, safety, rover, corner. Just put them on the football field. Stop overthinking things, GMs. Put them on the football field, period. Intense, fast, strong, instinctive. Oh, he doesn't have the best ball skills. And who cares? Who cares about ball skills? Just go make time. He's one of the best, if not the best tackler, probably other than Reuben Foster, in the draft. How many missed tackles did you see in 3 years at Michigan? Just tell me that. How many missed tackles? Really 2 years, because he redshirted midway through his freshman year when he had the hamstring injury, and they didn't want it to tear. They feared it was going to tear. They redshirted him the rest of the year. People don't remember that. In his true freshman year, Jabril Peppers only played 5 games, I believe. This sex so good, I shouldn't have to fall for free. But just put him on the field and then just let him go. You don't need to overthink a pick like Jabril Peppers. It was hysterical to me, all the pre-draft stuff I was reading and seeing. Well, he's too small to play linebacker. Don't play him at linebacker. Or he's he's what they call down in distance. On 1st and 10, he'll play one thing. On 2nd and 5, he'll play another thing. On 3rd and 7, he'll do something else. And if your defense gets off the field, you know what you tell him to do? You tell him to go back and catch punts. Just like McCaffrey. And then you can put him on offense. Now, he's not offensively as gifted, and I should even watch saying that because the man is just so gifted. I just don't want to say anything that he can't do. That's how gifted he is of a football player. One of the best athletes in this entire draft. The man is known to be doing backflips 4 or 5 in a row and backhand springs and complete backflips with full pads on. That's called straight athletic. He was just showing off at the combine, guys. Just showing off. How many people go to the combine for 2 straight days for two different positions? He does. 2 straight days, linebacker, and when he's out there, you just look at him and you go, wow, he's one of the best linebackers out here. Then he goes out for the defensive back position the next day, and you just look at him and you go, wow, he's one of the best defensive backs out here. Taco Charlton, also another Michigan Wolverine, but a really good pick for the Dallas Cowboys. You're losing all this defensive power, and you're not really replacing it with the linebackers and defensive backs. So what their mindset probably is, well, fine, we might as well be able to just go get the quarterback. We better get after Cousins, we better get after Carson, and we better get after Eli, because those teams have weapons. Giants have loaded up. I'd have went somewhere else other than a tight end pick, Ingram out of Ole Miss, but I understand why they went there. But I definitely would have went in a different direction. They still need offensive line help. I don't care how many weapons you have. There's still a time when your quarterback is going to be under pressure and he's going to let it go too early and it's going to be a pick. Eli threw 3 game-ending picks last year. 3 of them. 2 against teams they should have beat. And even with all those weapons that you guys are loving, they still couldn't move the ball the last 6 games. Couldn't score more than 20 points over the last 6 weeks in the NFL season. And only 13 in their playoff game. Could not move the ball against a Green Bay defense that was ranked in the 20s. I'm not sure if a tight end fixes that. Also, running back is sitting right there. You have Freeman. You have Cook. There's running backs that can go right there. Or trade out of the pick. Or go get one of the big offensive linemen. Forrest Lamp, still available. Who I wanted the Dolphins to take at 22. But I was not mad at the Harris pick at all. They wanted to add a pass rusher. I thought they would go pass rusher in the 2nd round. 3rd round, maybe. I thought they'd go there. But they saw a guy they liked. They kept their interest really quiet. I read an article today. They said they had him in for 2 separate workouts. And they actually went to Missouri on his pro day. And then they went back again to work him out privately. So, and they kept it very quiet. They didn't want anybody jumping up for him. They looked at it, and there's a scout quoted as saying they looked at him on the level of Myles Garrett. It's just that Myles Garrett got a lot of the pub. Myles Garrett got a lot of the press. They said this guy was still just as productive. And they didn't see the plays, the lack of play makes, the big plays that he made. And they didn't see the quote unquote, as some would say about Myles Garrett, as laziness or taking plays off. I thought the same thing about the Barrett kid out of Tennessee. A lot of production, guys. Only thing is maybe he didn't get the pub. They play in the SEC. SEC is Nick Saban's land. Not a lot of other teams there other than LSU. And wow, LSU, they sent off another 2 defensive backs in the 1st round. Ohio State sends another 3 defensive backs. And I don't believe in Ohio State defensive backs. I just don't. I just really, it's been a while since they had some of these young studs come in the league and really show up and produce. It's been a while. Alabama defensive backs, solid. LSU defensive backs, solid. Solid. Adoree Jackson was another draft pick that was also out there that I thought, I don't know if I'd have reached for him in the 1st round. I think a lot of times we look at 1st round talent. And I'm doing the air quotes here. 1st round talent. I think a lot of times teams reach for that. And you still have to have other things around. Like you still have to have a defensive line and a linebacking core. You can't. I just don't think you can start building a defense with your core. You got to be able to get to the quarterback first, so that your all-world corner that you're drafting, he has the opportunity to then go out and do what he does. Shut guys down. Hawk the ball down. Play good pass defense. He has the ability to do those things once you can get a rush on the passer. Nobody can cover for 5 and 6 seconds, guys. Nobody can do it. Nobody can cover that long. Dwayne Davis says they're taking Quincy Wilson with the 43rd pick. You might so, but watch Buffalo. There's stories Buffalo wants to move up to grab Quincy Wilson. So watch that move right there. And Buffalo is sitting at 44. It's ironic you just brought that up because Buffalo is sitting at 44. You guys are sitting at 43. If they feel the Eagles are going to go after them, look for them to jump. The Jets also sitting at 39. That could also be where Dalvin Cook sits, where he ends up. 45 is the Cardinals. 46, 47, and 48 are the Colts, Ravens, and Vikings. Washington is right back in at 48. 49 is Tampa. Tampa's sitting there at 49 also. Dolphins, my beloved Dolphins, we don't go again until 52. We also do not have a third-round pick today. So I'm hoping that something has been worked out overnight for them to move back up. Or maybe they just see a guy with fourth-round talent that know they can bring in. But I'm thinking at 52, that's got to be a defensive back. Either that or they move up to get Lamp. Forrest Lamp, the kid from Western Kentucky. They need a guard. He's a swing offensive lineman. He can play all 5 positions, including center. So he might be the incumbent to Mike Pouncey at some point. Who knows? He could be the incumbent to Mike Pouncey at some point. I also see people here on the mock draft and people hitting the chat room up right now. Steeler fan hits me up and say number 62, he likes DeShone Kizer. I'm not sure if I'm as sold on DeShone Kizer as a lot of other people are. If you're going to use him down the line, yeah. If you're asking him to come into your franchise right now, I'm not sure. Also, remember, defensive backs. There's 2 guys out of Washington still left. There's still Jordan out of Michigan, who's an All-American who's still left. There's King out of Washington. There's still some defensive backs. There are some great players to be had today. I'm not sure that I've seen a second round that can really be this stock. Like, that series. Defensive back number 16, Humphrey went to Alabama. We didn't talk about the Washington Redskins yet. I like to bang on Washington because I have a lot of friends in the DMV. Great pick with Jonathan Allen there. He fits. He's from the Herndon, that Ashburn, Virginia, Herndon area. He went to high school out there. Gets to come home. But I will caution Redskin fans this. He slid because of injury concern. That's what I heard. I'm hearing he slid because of injury concern. So keep an eye out on that. Adoree Jackson is going to be a defensive back. I just talked about him at LSU, at a USC. He did go to a good situation simply because he's going to be coached by Dick LeBeau. That was number 18. I'm just going through the picks right now. We also talked about Tampa Bay and how well they did in the draft. I thought they did just not good in the draft so far with a first-round pick of O.J. Howard, the freakish tight end out of Alabama. They've done great all offseason. All offseason. And Jameis Winston has got to be licking the chops. And remember, they could have almost had Adrian Peterson. He went down there. He worked out for the team. He worked out with Jameis Winston. They threw around to him. Jameis Winston snapped and handed him off the ball, and they went through some drills. And they kicked the tires on it and then decided to say no. They could also be in the hunt for a running back late in this draft, late in these rounds too. Denver decided to take Bowler. We talked about him. That's the kid that went and did the whole Simba thing with his son out of Utah. Left tackle. He's locked that down for the next 7 to 10 years. Easily. He's a 7 to 8 year starting left tackle, and he can stay in Denver as long as he wants. Because he's a mauler. The kid loves the block. He loves to get physical. He loves to be nasty. He loves everything. He said it last night. I just love everything about being an offense, what comes with being an offensive lineman. And they get dirty and grimy in there, man. In those trenches, when they're blocking guys, man, watch the game. Watch off the ball sometime. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, they get it cracking. Davis, the linebacker out of Florida, goes to Detroit. Detroit is always seeming to either draft a linebacker or a receiver. I just still don't get Detroit. Corey Harris, Chris Harris, the defensive end from Missouri for the Dolphins at 22. Like I said, I like the pick. I'm not sure how great the pick will be. I just like it because they need somebody to go opposite of Cameron Wake. You put his locker right next to Cameron Wake, or in between Cameron Wake and Ndamukong Suh. You learn how to be a pro. You learn how to be on time. You learn how to study. You learn how to work out. You learn what two better strength and physicality specimens in that entire Dolphin locker room you can find in Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake. You eat with us, you hang with us, you study with us, you do what we do, and you do how we tell you to do it. And you'll make a lot of money in this league, you'll earn a lot of respect, and because you're playing beside us, you're going to have wide open shots at the quarterback at least one time a Sunday. At least once or twice a Sunday, and I see why they went there with the pick. Like I said, production was out of the roof. Measurables were out of, and then he went and he held up at the combine. Went to the combine and showed his natural ass. So I like the pick. I'm not sure if I love it, but I like it. I know all Giant fans have been hitting me up. They love the tight end Ingram. We spoke on that. Conley, the defensive back at Ohio State, there's a report that I'm sure everybody heard, came out earlier today. He took a polygraph. Polygraph just concluded that he's telling the truth. So looks like this chick is just one of them girls that's trying to get a dude in trouble, which I just hate, man. I think that's so corny when women do that to these guys, to these men. People can say don't put yourself in that situation, but you weren't there. You don't know the situation. And I know a lot of you that's listening right now, and a lot of my friends and a lot of people that you know, if you on your way into the league and a little girl trying to give you some Jonah, you're going to take it. Just be real. Stop being a moralist. Shut your mouth. If you're a moralist, shut your mouth. Just shut up, man. Just go be a moralist by yourself and with the rest of the other moralists in America. So, oh my God, I can't believe it. Man, shut up. Like you ain't never did nothing dumb in life. Probably still doing dumb stuff. That's like the guy who cheats on his wife but always tries to act like he's this upstanding husband. He's this upstanding. You cheated on your wife, bro. Shut up. Don't even say nothing, B. Just go do what you're doing. We talked about Jabril Peppers to Cleveland. Defense is different. If it was an offensive player, I'd be like, oh, God, it just seemed like offenses die. Guys can be productive in Cleveland on defense. We've seen that with Joe Hayden. We've seen that with a few other players that they've had there, especially on their defensive line. You can be productive in Cleveland on defense. It's defense. You don't have to score. It'd be nice if you did. It's different from quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, things like that. But, I'll take it. Who knows? Plays 3-4 years of his rookie contract, becomes a free agent, and then he's got the type of personality. He's going to want to be in a big market. He's got a great personality. He's got a big personality. All the reports and everything that I've read and ever heard from the day he walked into Michigan is when he walks in the room, just everyone likes him. He lights the room up. He's always smiling. He has a great personality. He comes from good stuff. He had a brother that was in the streets back in Camden, New Jersey, who was shot and killed outside of a pool hall over a pool bet. I shot and killed outside of a bar over a pool game that was going down inside. Taking care of his mother, taking care of his younger sibling. Just, he's got a reason to keep his nose clean, and he has. He hasn't done anything, hasn't gotten any trouble. Diluted sample, I'll be real with everybody. I don't think it's, drugs or steroids. I just think he's probably puffing some trees. Same with Reuben Foster. He's probably just puffing some trees. Atlanta 26 went with Tavares McKinley out of UCLA, and that's the kid who dropped the F-bomb last night. And I said linebacker earlier. I'm sorry, I meant rush end, but that's in the 3-4. In the 4-3, he might be an outside rush linebacker, so it's still linebacker, but he's listed as a defensive end. But also, too, once again, that type of passion, that type of emotion in a city, in a black city like Atlanta. Just watch that. I'm not wishing bad on the kid. I'm just saying, just watch it. Buffalo at 27 went with White, the defensive back at LSU. There was their second one taken. Kick and play. They seem to keep losing defensive backs every 3 to 4 years. It seems like they draft them really well. They go there, they play really good, and then they leave as a free agent. Shows you how much anybody, including these kids, want to be in Buffalo. Dallas took Taco Charlton at 28. All right, talked about Taco. Jumps off the screen. Every Michigan game you watch, you see number 33. He jumps off the screen. His best game of the year was in the biggest game of the year against Ohio State. 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and a bat down pass. Like, he was all over the field. Ohio State, who has future first-round draft pick tackles, could do nothing with Taco Charlton in the biggest game probably in his college career. Njoku, I like the pick once again. Cleveland, loading up here. They cut Barnage today, so the writing's on the wall. Plug and play. Plug him in, 6'5.5", 245, runs like a deer, jumps like a kangaroo. He's got hand like baseball mitts. Enough said. They ain't a quarterback to throw him the football, of course. The TJ Watt pick to Pittsburgh was so Pittsburgh. It was so, and it almost made me mad. And I'm like, oh God, how do they do this? They're gonna get another all-star damn linebacker. How do they continue to do this? Great pick. I'm a Big Ten guy, watch a lot of Michigan games. I watched this kid play the last 3 years. The kid's phenomenal. It's in his blood and DNA, guys. Like, you know, everybody knows who his big brother is. We can just stop there. San Francisco, Reuben Foster. Some injuries. I don't think it was the combine stuff. I don't think it was the diluted sample. What I think it was the shoulder surgery and the shoulder rumors and shoulder stuff that was coming out as to why he slid. But I mean, they easily got two of the best 3 or 4 defensive players in this entire draft with Solomon Thomas and with Reuben Foster at linebacker. And like I said before, earlier in the show, John Lynch played defense. He's gonna build this thing with defense. Hey, Shanahan, Kyle, you see your guy at quarterback? No? Okay, let's build this defense first. Why? Gotta chase Russ around. Gotta chase David Johnson around. Right? Those are 4 games right there. Gotta deal with Seattle. Gotta deal with the Cardinals. Rams, or even with the Rams, still got to chase Todd Gurley around. Still need somebody to stick their face mask in Todd Gurley's between the 3 and the 0. Great pick right there. And then to round out top the first round, the Wisconsin tackle, Ramczyk. Great pick for them. They need linemen. They need to keep control of the offensive line, which just shows you guys it's still Drew Brees' show. They didn't get a weapon to replace Brandon Cooks. They probably think Drew Brees can make weapons, man. Brandon Cooks wasn't a first round pick if I don't remember. Oh, yes, he was. He was a first round pick. And that's why New England had to give up their first round for Brandon Cooks. Because the Saints are like, hey, he was a first round for us. So that's the first round, guys. Those are the most picks that really shocked me, really stood up to me. Not beating up on Chicago like everybody else is. Like I said, I'm a guy that if you think you have your guy in sights, you go get your guy. Simple as that. If you think he's there, you think he can lead your franchise, you work them out, you talk to him, you did your homework, you followed him around, private investigator, talk to old teachers, talk to the coaches, talk to classmates, talk to professors in college, whatever they do, when they sat down and said, this is our guy, I think they were afraid San Francisco was going to. Maybe San Francisco made them think they were going to take him at number 2. They jump up and took him. It is what it is. But I'm not mad at the teams that didn't get a quarterback, because if you don't see your guy and you talk to the parents, you talk to the coaches, you talk to the professors, and you look at the film and you have the private investigator follow him around, and you see a few things that you just don't like on film, don't go get the guy. Don't mess your franchise up, guys. There are a lot of players that get passed on, and a lot of players that go when they shouldn't. It's just all a crapshoot, guys. That's how it all shoots out, man. VJ's and Sports Like Conduct. Second round is about to begin. Second, third rounds. I am hyped. This is my favorite thing to watch. That's nothing to do with games. It's the NFL draft, man. Thank everybody for listening. Tuning in. I told you guys, it's going to be a short day today. I want to hang out with Mary Jane for a little bit and watch the NFL draft. Might do a show this weekend. I have rehearsal on a comedy show to attend tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm not sure if I get onto the air. If not, I'll probably check with you guys all on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of the draft. Enjoy the rest of the NHL, NBA playoffs. God bless.